Well, hello there. My name is sometimes Heather and I play Elder Scrolls Online. Last time, I showed you an icy Necromancer and today, I will bring you disease. The idea to create a disease Necro, a plague bringer, came to me around the same time with an ice Necro. I didn't give that idea much gaming time. Disease abilities are stamina based and I like magicka characters. I also had a hard time finding sets that have a disease effect. And the more trouble this idea gave me, the more it became a challenge. I started out trying to make this an ordinary 2-weapon setup with a long and intricate rotation. And then last Tuesday I couldn't be bothered to set traps and cast curses. Instead, I took my main weapon, used the abilities I like best, and behold, it worked. So I gave Ethérna an Oaken Soul and set to work. Here's the result. Ethérna is a Dark Elf stage 4 vampire, but do choose your favorite race and skip the vampirism if you feel like it. I haven't used any vampire abilities, so this will work fine without the curse. Unless you'd like to sneak around and take advantage of a vampire passive named Strike from the Shadows, your call. I have all my attribute points on stamina and have Ethérna walking under the Lover boon to maximize physical and spell penetration. Let's start with champion points, which I'm a bit iffy about. In Warfare, my active stars are Weapons Expert, Reaving Blows, Wrathful Strikes, and Untamed Aggression. In Fitness, I have Bloody Renewal, Rejuvenation, Fortified, and Boundless Vitality. In Crafts, I've gone with Master Gatherer, Treasure Hunter, Homemaker, and Plentiful Harvest. Do choose the craft stars that make playing fun for you. I have given Ethérna a lightning staff, but since we don't use any weapon abilities, you could use, say, a bow. A melee weapon might not work, we have a little bit of trouble staying alive. First, our reliable spammer, Venom Skull. This allows Ethérna to toss an explosive skull at enemies. This skull deals a set amount of poison damage, and every third cast will do 50% more damage. In combat, any Necro ability will count toward the third cast. Next, we have a Scribed ability. Pestilent Trample will summon a Nyx Ox to barge at enemies and to deal both instant and overtime disease damage. The Plague Ox will also grant enemies minor vulnerability, which increases their damage taken. This is a super fun ability. I tested this at a public dungeon and other players literally turned to see what the hell just happened. Moving on, we have Healing Soul, a Scribed healing ability. I could have used a Necro heal, of course, and if you prefer to, please do. I'm just really into Scribing now and want to use it for everything. Healing Soul heals Ethérna or an ally both instantly and over time. It also grants Ethérna Major Savagery and Prophecy, which boost weapon and spell critical rating. Due to Oaken Soul we don't need these status effects, but I made the skill before I chose to use the ring. Next, Blighted Blastbones. This summons a deceased skeleton to run after an enemy. After 2.5 seconds, it explodes to deal a set amount of disease damage to all enemies around. It also makes enemies deceased and grants them Major Defile, which reduces healing received and damage shield strength. I really like this ability, it's both fun and flashy. Last, we have Shadow Silk from the Undaunted skill line. This one allows Ethérna to toss a web to ensnare enemies. This deals a set amount of physical damage and makes enemies slower. After a while, the web explodes to deal a set amount of poison damage. Shadow Silk also comes with a Black Widow synergy. Activating this will deal a set amount of poison damage and summon a spider that will poison enemies for 10 seconds. I'm a bit uncertain about this because does anyone actually use synergies? I know. I rely on a very simple rotation when playing as Ethérna. First, I cast Blastbones followed by Pestilent Trample, quickly followed by Shadow Silk to slow enemies down. Spam Venom Skull until everybody dies or repeat as needed. Our ultimate is Pestilent Colossus. This unearths a mighty monster to smash enemies 3 times. These strikes all do a set amount of disease damage. The Colossus also grants enemies minor vulnerability, which reduces damage taken. Fun. Our abilities mainly come from Gravelord, Undaunted and Soul Magic skill lines. I would encourage you to get all passives from these skill lines, along with passives from light armor and racial skill lines. Now to gear. I've tried a few sets on Ethérna. Swamp Rider was my first choice, but it didn't work as well as I'd hoped. Instead, I chose an Overland set from the West Weald. The symmetry of the Weald adds to weapon and spell damage and critical chance. With a full set, you'll get to play with status effects. I chose to let this buff go and wear the Oaken Soul instead. The Oaken Soul is a mythic item from High Isle. When worn, Oaken Soul prevents you from switching weapons and grants you minor Slayer, minor Aegis, Empower, minor Courage, major Resolve, minor Fortitude, minor Intellect, minor Endurance, major Prophecy, major Savagery, minor Protection, minor Berserk, major Sorcery, minor Force, major Brutality, minor Heroism, and minor Mending. This is a fun item, but lately it seems to have lost some of its charm. I still like it though. For our second set, I chose Kalurian's Legacy. This is a light armor set that drops from Fang Lair, which is a part of the Dragonbones DLC. Both the dungeons included in the DLC were daily rewards in September, so if you grab them, good for you. Kalurian's Legacy adds to weapon and spell damage and critical chance. With a full set, dealing critical damage with a light or heavy attack gives you a chance to summon a projectile to deal flame, frost, shock or disease damage, and to apply the respective status effects. I'm assuming these status effects go on enemy, not Ethérna. Kalurian's Legacy used to be an it set in PvP, but now it, like Oaken Soul, has kinda lost its place in the sun. Suits me as I'm hiding in the shadows, haha. For our monster set, I chose Valleycraft. This drops when you slay the last boss in Cradle of Shadows in Veteran, although I got mine from the Golden. Shoulders can be purchased from Undaunted Vandals. Valleycraft adds to weapon and spell damage. With both pieces equipped, you'll have a chance to send 3 disease spores to deal disease damage to all enemies in their path. This is an excellent immersion set, I love this so much. Also, it kinda ties Ethérna's build into one tiny diseased package that smells like death and decay. Chai. Ethérna's path has been even rockier than Tinesa's, but as the pieces finally clicked together, she turned out to be unbelievably fun to play with. I never thought I'd find a use for Trample, but the Plague Ox I made is one of the most fun abilities I've ever used in ESO. This was truly a freaky journey, especially since Ethérna turned out so different from what I had planned. I hope you'll enjoy this too. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all later.